Hey, second grade. Today for math, we will be doing our apprentice task. We will be solving two take from result unknown problems using the strategies we have learned so far in this unit. First, we're going to read and think about the first story problem asking, what is this situation about? Then we will identify the quantities and units in the story problem, and finally use a tape diagram to figure out the equation and solve it. You will be working independently to solve the At the Museum story problems on Seesaw using any tools and strategies you have learned so far to show your work. The core math to remember today is that using a tape diagram to record the information we know from the story can help us find the unknown quantity. Also, there are a variety of ways to solve subtraction problems. We can also add chunking to our subtraction strategies list. That means we can subtract more efficiently by chunking the subtrahend in larger groups. Here's our math talk for today. The first problem says 35 minus 6. The second problem is 35 minus 16. Pause this video to work through these problems with your teacher. The first story problem on Seesaw today is going to go like this. A class of 29 students went to the Science Museum. 16 students went outside to eat lunch. So think, what is this situation about? What are the quantities and relationships in this problem? How can we create a tape diagram to help us solve this problem? Here are our quantities and units diagram. In the story problem, it told us there were 29, which is a quantity, students in the museum, which is our unit. We also know that there were 16 students that went outside for lunch. So the question's going to ask, how many students are still in the museum? Our tape diagram is going to look something like this. Well, we know there's 29 total students, so that's on the outside of the tape diagram. 16 went out for lunch, which is one part. And we want to know, how many students are still inside the museum? That's the part we're missing. So then you can think, what equation might go with this problem? There's a couple options. The first option might be 29 minus 16 equals question mark. So if we know our total and we take away part, we will know how many are left over. Or you could do an addition problem like this. 16 plus question mark, because we have one part and we don't know the other part, so that's the question mark, equals 29, which is our total. Either one will get you the correct answer. Now it's time to get into Seesaw to solve our problem. When you get to Seesaw, look for your activities tab, find Math Friday 12/18, which is today, and it says Unit 5 Apprentice Task. Click on the green Add Response button, and the activity will pop up. Notice there are two questions for you to solve. The first one is what we just read. A class of 29 students went to the Science Museum. 16 students went outside to eat lunch. How many students are still inside the museum? The second question says, the teacher brought 40 cookies to share with the students. If each student ate one cookie, how many cookies were left over? So you might have to use some information from the first question to answer this second question. Again, you will show your work. Page 2 and 3 have tens and ones, place value mat, a number line, and a hundreds chart to help you solve number one or the first two questions. On page 4 is your apprentice task homework. So this is your math homework page, which is in your yellow packet, page 21. You can complete that here on Seesaw or in your packet. You don't have to do it both places. One or the other will do. So again, you will solve first question first, second question second. You can show your work on page 2 and 3. Try to use some of the strategies we've been using to solve these problems. Now it's time to summarize. Remember that using a tape diagram to record the information we know from a story can help us find the unknown quantity. Also, we know that there are a variety of ways to solve subtraction problems. So the second part of your homework today, the teacher brought 40 cookies to share with the students. If each student ate one cookie, how many cookies were left over? If we were going to use it on the number line, we could show it like this. Start with 40 over here on the right. We want to subtract by tens because we know that's pretty easy to subtract by tens. And we have to take away 29 because there were 29 students in the class. So 40 minus 10 gives us 30. 30 minus 10 gives us 20. So we're down 20. And now we have to go 9 more back. So 20 minus 9 gives us 11. So we know there are 11 cookies left over. Another way you could do that on the number line would be to start at 40 and subtract 20, because we know half of 40 is 20. So 40 minus 20 would give us 20. And then we just have to go back 9 more to get to 11. Great job today, second graders, on working on those subtraction strategies. And just remember that we can subtract more efficiently by chunking the subtrahend in larger groups.